Good evening and welcome to the May 18th City Council meeting. If you'd join me for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Snyder, roll call, please.
Volk.
Here.
Hellier.
Here?
Bermo. Here. Walter.
Here.
Lee.
Here. Okay, very good. We'll move on to item number 3, citizens' comments. Opportunity for anyone to address the council for up to 3 minutes. Okay, very good. Moving on to item 4, additional agenda information, Mr. Miller.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Nothing? Okay, very good. We'll move on to our presentations, introductions. And our first is our new police officer introductions, and I'll turn this over to our chief, Brad Paulson. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. We appreciate the opportunity tonight to introduce 7 of our police officers that have started within the past 10 months for us. So I'll have them start working their way up to the front. This is a well-orchestrated event here, so it's been well-rehearsed. So I'll provide just a few waypoints on each of their journey to Lakeville PD while they're getting their badges pinned on here shortly. But certainly when our officers start on day 1, they do an official oath with the city clerk. Obviously, they've been wearing a badge now for a number of months, but we feel it's important to publicly do an oath to honor our officers' commitment to the public and also to pin the badge to signify and introduce them to our community that they are serving and to uphold the duties and responsibilities that they are swearing to do. So we feel it's important to publicly do that. So for the badge pinners, as I introduce each officers, I'll just have you come up and pin the badge while I speak. So we'll start out with Bennett Weestrand down on my left here, badge 48140. Bennett grew up in Apple Valley and graduated from Eastview High School and attended St. Mary's University in Winona, where he earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice. He started working with Lakeville PD as a community service officer in the summer of 2022, spent a few years in this capacity while finishing up his law enforcement schooling and became an officer with us last July. Congratulations to Officer Bennett Weestrand. Next up is Officer Josh Enevold, badge 48141. Josh grew up in Chaska, Minnesota, before moving on to college, where he graduated with a business management degree from Minnesota State Mankato. He worked in insurance and with TSA before spending about 3 years working at the Carver County Jail as a detention deputy. Josh was one of our IC Poet grant recipients and began his law enforcement schooling back in February of 2025. And once he completed that in July, he was onboarded as a police officer with Lakeville PD. So welcome, Officer Josh Enevold. Next is Officer Megan Karp, badge 48142. Megan grew up in Rochester, Minnesota, and graduated from John Marshall High School. She went on to attend St. Cloud State University and attained her bachelor's degree in criminal justice with an emphasis in victim services concentration. Throughout high school, college, and beyond, she spent about 10 years in the hospitality industry. She was also a recipient of our IC Poet grant. We pulled her out of hospitality into public service, where she attended law enforcement skills training in February of 2025, completed that, and was onboarded as a police officer with us in July of last year. Congrats to Officer Megan Karp. Next up is Officer Joe Barron, badge 48143. Joe grew up in St. Peter, Minnesota, and went on to college at Bemidji State University, where he played football and graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He completed his law enforcement training at Alexandria Technical College, and he began his policing career with Lakeville PD last July as well. Congratulations to Officer Joe Barron. I have to talk long enough till that badge is fully secure, so we're doing okay. All right, moving on to this side, Officer Fletcher Silvernail, badge 48144. Fletcher spent his early years in Burnsville, later moved to Lakeville, and graduated from Apple Valley High School. He's got the South Metro covered. He went on to continue his education at Rasmussen University, where he received his law enforcement degree. Fletcher spent about 2.5 years as a community service officer with Lakeville PD before becoming a police officer last November. Congratulations to Officer Fletcher Silvernail. In the middle here, Officer Victoria Ruck, badge 48145. Victoria grew up in Lakeville and graduated from Lakeville South High School. She continued her education at the University of North Dakota, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in criminal justice. She finished her law enforcement schooling at Rasmussen University. She was also a community service officer with us for about 1.5 years and moved into her police officer role last November. Congratulations to Officer Victoria Ruck. And finally, Officer Brandon Johnson, badge 48146. Brandon grew up primarily in Blaine, although he graduated from Central High School in Norwood, Young America. He furthered his education and graduated with a law enforcement degree from Rasmussen University and started his policing career as a deputy with the McKenzie County Sheriff's Office in North Dakota. He spent a few years there before getting hired as a deputy with the Carver County Sheriff's Office in 2018 and joined us as a Lakeville police officer last November. Congratulations and job well done by his daughter, Officer Brandon Johnson. Now invite Mayor Hellier down to read the oath of office.
All right, very good. So raise your right hand. I state your name, do solemnly swear. That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the state of Minnesota.
And the state of Minnesota.
And faithfully discharge the duties of police officer.
And faithfully discharge the duties of police officer.
For the city of Lakeville.
For the city of Lakeville.
In the county of Dakota and state of Minnesota.
In the county of Dakota and state of Minnesota.
To the best of my judgment and ability.
To the best of my judgment and ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Oh, very good. So I'll ask what all the senior officers won't ask is, do any of you play softball or hockey?
I know they're headed out, but I don't know if council has any words before they depart the room here. But I want to thank families. It's always nice to see, for them to see the support that they have from their families, from our staff in the police department, from the community as a whole. So, thank you.
Yeah, John.
First off, I'm just wondering what happened to badge numbers in the 30s and 40s. Congratulations, everybody. I mean, this is a big, big moment for you, and you worked incredibly hard to get here. And as I'm fond of saying, the work is just beginning, and you're going to continue to work incredibly long and hard for your career here in Lakeville. We're happy you're here. You're exactly right where you belong. And it's not a coincidence that you're here in Lakeville. You work in a great community. Your community supports you, and you're going to do great work. So thank you for getting this far.
Councilmember Lee.
I'll just add, first of all, thank you for your service. I'm extremely proud of our police department, and I am sure that they've selected the cream of the crop. So here's an official welcome to the team. So thank you.
Very good. We'll give you one last round of applause, and we'll give you a minute to kind of walk out, and then we'll get back into our meeting. So congratulations. Okay, we'll now move on to our next item, our Fire Department Quarter 1 presentation, and have Chief Meyer. I think by the time you make it up, the doors will be closed. And you're good.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I'd like to present the Lakeville Fire Department First Quarter 2006 report.
I don't know if your mic might not be on.
Yeah,
About that one?
Not that one.
it's just quiet.
Green light is on. So.
Okay, all right. go ahead.
Mission statements: the Lakeville Fire Department is dedicated to serving the community through protection of lives and property by providing public safety education and professional emergency response. Looking at call numbers or our call volume for first quarter, so it's the top graph is just a 3-year comparison looking back 24, 25, and 26, so you can see that increase per year. And it's about a 10% increase that we're seeing, which is about average over each year so far. And then the bottom one is just a breakdown of the months in that first quarter, so pretty consistent until we get into February and March. You can see it's a pretty significant increase from 25 to 26 for that jump in call volume. Incident type, so this is different from what you've seen in the past reports because we did have to switch in January of 26 to nearest reporting, so it's just a change of how we are typing our calls. So medicals obviously is still our number one call volume. It's about 62, 63%. What you've normally seen as far as false alarms or canceled calls are now broken into either a no emergency or public service. So that's just the difference that you see there, but the rest of them remain roughly the same. And then I'll highlight rescue is any car extrication or car accidents were normally lumped into the medical response and rescue, so those are broken out differently. So what you're seeing for 5 incidents in rescue are actually 5 vehicle accidents where we performed auto extrication. And then just a note there, kind of what I mentioned as far as the no emergency includes the alarms, accident alarms, good intent, and cancel calls.
I have a quick question. Just because of the graph you had before it, what is the percentage of the non-emergency? Is it the same going from year to year? So
For non-emergency, like how we respond to a call, or
no,
non-emergency
the
calls?
The calls that you said they're malfunctioning, accidental alarms, good intent, and canceled calls.
Yep.
But that's in the total number that you presented to us, correct? For the
Right,
monthly
the
numbers?
no emergency is just how we're typing we determined that it was a false alarm because of a malfunction or dead battery as an example. So it's
Right. What my question is to you is because, it goes up from year to year.
Yep.
The number, but the 232 calls are in the quarter,
correct.
in the tally.
Yep.
Is that an unusual number, or is that the same over the 3 years? So
It is the same roughly. There, I'll say our false alarms, we're working to decrease those, and we're starting to see those, the gains that we've been working on. So the false alarms, as we look at them from a commercial standpoint, are decreasing because of our inspection staff, which I'll highlight in a few slides here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry.
Just looking at some pictures from calls, but just know from an emergency response and our drone response, we're averaging about 11.8, 12 calls a day. Just the 3 pictures that you see there, obviously when winter was here, we had a number of vehicle accidents with weather. The bottom right picture is actually a semi-trailer or tractor on fire out at one of our transport businesses that ended up with a secondary tractor next to it that caught fire. And then the larger picture is a dust bin collector that our crews had to be a little creative of getting up above it and getting water down inside of that dust bin collector. Normally we would use the ladder truck as far as the nozzle that's on the ladder, but because of the cold temperatures, we didn't want to risk that, so then we used a hand line so that if it would freeze up, it's just the hose and not the ladder, so to speak. So they're actually hoisting a line up on top of the ladder or hose line up on top to get at the fire. Response time, so I kind of broke this out into all emergent, so the left graphics that you see are for any call that we're responding lights and sirens, so the top part is average response, and just showing the difference or the breakout in that versus the 90th percentile. We as a department look at the 90th percentile, obviously that gives us a better snapshot of what we do as far as 90% of the time responding to calls in the community. So that's right in our target window of what we're looking for. We'd like to see that obviously get faster and better, but we have to work on that. And then the right side is, there's not a lot of change in there, but just if it's a non-emergent call, so we're not running lights and sirens to that call. So example is, again, we get a residential fire alarm or commercial alarm, our first truck goes lights and sirens, our second truck will go non-emergent. Training completed in the first quarter, so the monthly trainings where we did listed there, thermal imaging, smoke reading, alarm panels, forcible entry, and then medical training. And then there's a list of other trainings that we have completed as a department, and I'll just highlight the pictures that you see there. Is our Pay on Call Academy ended with them doing an additional 3 weeks of training out at Able, and then one additional training of doing car extrication. So images of them working out at Able as a team, stretching hose lines beyond what we normally do with them, just with the other two cities in the ALF Academy. Fire prevention and community engagement, so just listing some of those. We've completed 40 food truck inspections, fire safety visit station tours, just a couple listed there. Obviously we had crews out at the Home Expo in March, and then our car seat installation team gets very busy. Obviously we've got 14 car seats that we did over the quarter, but we're also hosting a daycare foster care clinic, so we do that once a month. With the group that helps us keep our certifications and our hours required for that. Inspections, so first quarter inspections, 350 inspections. On the left side graphs that you see is those broken out by different types. Obviously the annual inspection, which is our biggest category, and I'll just draw the what I mentioned earlier as far as reducing some of those false alarms. So when we do go to a business on a false alarm, fire alarm, water flow, whatever that might be, is that we do a follow-up. Our inspection team is out there. So those 20 visits that they did in that first quarter is following up after we've been there and trying to mitigate so that we don't have to go repeatedly back to that same business for an issue. The right graphic just shows permits that were issued by the fire department, so you can see the different types of fire alarm, fire sprinkler, the temporary heat. Again, those will drop off here now that we're coming into summer, but those are temporary heating that we put in, that builders will put in either to a residential or commercial building during the winter months for construction. Mentorship program, I like to highlight this one, that we've been actively engaged in our community and the schools mainly, as far as talking to the kids that are interested in the fire service, engaging them and kind of showing them what the fire service looks like. The ride-along job shadow is something that we've really developed over the past, I'll say, year and a half, of giving them an opportunity if they're 16 or older that they can do a ride-along with the crew and kind of get an experience what that shift looks like. So we do a 4-hour shift with our full-time staff, but we also have used that for firefighters or people that might be interested in a full-time position or a pay-on-call position that get the opportunity to do a ride-along and see what it's all about. On January, hosted our annual awards banquet, and you can see the pictures there. So Joe Velasky was our Rookie of the Year. He's the guy with the mustache versus Joe Small with the fancy suspenders on, was our Firefighter of the Year. And then just a list of the firefighters that celebrated their years of service of 20, 15, or 10 years. And then finally, just department updates. Obviously, we did a groundbreaking this afternoon prior to the meeting. And then we filled an assistant chief position with Janelle Brooks, who started in April, so she's getting her feet under her, and things are going great with her, having her on board and taking some of the load off of myself, so this has been awesome. And then I'll continually update as we can continually progress through Station 2's building. With that, we thank you for your continued investment in our firefighters, our training, and our equipment, which ensures a safer community for everyone, and I'll stand for any questions.
Oh, I like that picture of the sticker. Still don't know what happened with that one, do we?
No.
40 years later. Okay, council, any questions or?
I just want to give you some kudos on the mentorship program. I think that's a really cool way to recruit and get local people interested in serving their community on the fire department. And then a curiosity question, what's smoke reading?
Smoke reading is literally going through and looking at a structure that's on fire and what does the smoke tell you. So different color smoke mean different types of material burning. So like a brown smoke means that we've got wood product burning, the trusses as example, or flooring. And then you can look at smoke if it's pressurized, it's pushing, and they call it angry smoke, tells us that there's a lot going on in there, that it could be a potential for a flashover, that the building's at a point where the smoke is going to actually self-ignite because of the materials and the products that are in it. So it's called the art of reading smoke because truly, and I'll say the fire that we had on Saturday afternoon, as I'm sitting there watching what's going on, I can tell what's happening in the attic space by looking at the smoke. And then as soon as the crews make entry and start putting water to it, I can see that converting from like a brown black smoke into a white steam, knowing that we're making progress, and kind of gives you that outside look of what's happening inside the structure.
Fascinating, thanks.
Yep.
Any other comments? Thanks, Chief. I know you guys had a busy week, so thank you. Okay, moving on to item C, our business spotlight, and I'll have our community development director, Tina Goodroad, give the presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, members of Council. I am pleased to present the Lakeview Bank Business Spotlight video. Lakeview Bank was started in Lakeville and has been part of the community for over 20 years. The bank currently has 23 employees and is looking to expand to meet the needs of their growth and supporting their clients as our community grows. The bank has a strong mission of giving back, so many of the bank employees are actively involved throughout the year in many community organizations and volunteering. This year, the bank hosted its 20th annual Legacy Awards event, which provides scholarships to exceptional students and recognizes a citizen volunteer. In 2025, Lakeview Bank was named the Mid-Sized Business of the Year for Dakota County. Mike Pape, President and CEO, will be speaking on behalf of the bank before the video, and just wanted to share that we do provide this little plaque that he'll be able to take with him. So I'd like to invite Mike.
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Tina. I'll just take a couple minutes if that's okay. Good evening, Mayor and council members. On behalf of Lakeview Bank, thank you for having us as the business spotlight. My name is Mike Puppy. I'm the president and CEO of Lakeview Bank, which is locally owned and headquartered right here in Lakeville. At Lakeview Bank, we do believe it's all about community. Here's what community banking means in practice. Every dollar deposited at Lakeview stays local. We take local deposits and lend them back out to local businesses, local homeowners, and local families. The money doesn't leave. It circulates here, it builds here, and it grows here. That's something that a regional or national bank simply cannot offer our communities. Community banks like Lakeville are the backbone of local economies across America. We provide small business loans in this country, the majority of small business loans in this country, and we do it because we know the owners personally. They're not some credit score or algorithm. When a Lakeview Bank resident or Lakeville resident or business opens an account with us, those funds become the mortgage for a neighbor's home or a loan that helps a local business hire its next employee. That's not a coincidence. That's the model, and the model works for us because we are deeply rooted here. But our commitment to Lakeville goes beyond banking. Lakeview Bank actively gives back through direct financial support to local organizations, events, and causes. Through the time and energy of our employees volunteer right here in our community. Our team doesn't just work in Lakeville. They coach youth sports, they serve on nonprofit boards, and they show up when the community needs them. We believe that's part of the job. Lakeview Bank and Lakeville have grown together for over 2 decades. When our community thrives, we grow. When we grow, we lend more, we give more, and we invest more right back here. That exact cycle is what community banking is all about, and why having a strong local community bank matters for every resident and business in this city. Because for us, it truly is all about community. And I can't tell you enough, as a bank, how fortunate we are to be part of the Lakeville community. Thank you again for this recognition tonight, for allowing me time, and for all that you do. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mike.
Lakeview Bank was established in 2004 by a group of local business people led by Tom Mork, who viewed Lakeville as a growing community and wanted to give back.
This is the world headquarters of Lakeview Bank. You know, we're the only chartered community bank in the city of Lakeville, and that has a lot of advantages for us. I mean, the larger banks can be more problematic for certain types of customers, and we look at any individual business in our community as a potential client of our bank, and I think we can give them the community bank service that a lot of people still want.
Lakeview Bank takes pride in being a community bank that provides residents with personal banking services and small business support.
So we're a full-service community bank, so anything you'd expect from checking and savings accounts to safe deposit boxes, we've got those. Our specialty is in small business lending. So we work with a number of Lakeville businesses. Being founded in Lakeville 20 years ago, that's where we built our base. But we service businesses throughout the Twin Cities metro and some parts beyond.
The bank's motto, displayed proudly in their lobby, is because it's all about community, and its 20-plus employees take that to heart.
Because it's all about community is more than a tagline. It is really who we are. We get it very involved. During the month of September, we have Community Impact Month, and we break out in teams. We all partner up. Every employee is given $100. We can combine them with our partners, and then we do random acts of kindness in the community, or we select an organization or a family that needs some special support.
Everybody here, if you walked into the bank, would say they're a part of something. And that's just a big piece of what we do here.
In addition to volunteering, attending local events, and actively engaging in community organizations, Lakeview Bank also hosts events throughout the year to recognize individuals in the community who are doing great work and celebrate with their customers during the annual Birthday Bash in July.
Like a lot of things we do at Lakeview Bank, it was to give back to the community. We actually, this year, in 2026, celebrated our 20th Legacy Award. And what it was established back in 2006 was to recognize students and individuals in the community who have thrived in the community and excelled in their profession as a student or as a volunteer. We provide scholarships to the students. We provide funding for each volunteer or business winner recipient to give back to any organization they choose to do so.
Several recent accomplishments include Lakeview Bank being named Mid-Size Business of the Year in Dakota County in 2025 and reaching a level of $200 million in assets in early 2026, which demonstrates the bank's success and its intention to grow along with the community.
We consider ourselves a small bank, but I feel like we have the services to act like a big bank. So we have all the technology that all the big banks have.
But even as the bank grows and adapts to changing technologies, its emphasis remains on maintaining personal relationships and giving back.
I think as you talk about Lakeville, it is a growing community. For a bank, that is a good thing, but it's also a community that maintains a closeness and a smallness to it. There's a lot of people who've been around here for a long time that I see come into the bank, and I think that's one of the things that's special about it.
Thank you to Lakeview Bank for choosing Lakeville and continuing to invest in our community.
Well, thanks, Mike. Extend our gratitude to the rest of the team at Lakeview for all of your support for the city. We are greatly thankful for that, so thank you for being here today, too. All right, we'll move on to item 6, our consent agenda. Anything you'd like to highlight, Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Mayor. A few items tonight. Item 6H is confirmation of the Planning Commission chair, and that has been voted on by the Planning Commission to be Christine Zimmer again this year, and by our ordinance, you're asked to confirm that. Item 6K is our first labor agreement with IAFF Lakeville Professional Firefighters. This is the first contract that we have with that union group, and we appreciate their their work as we negotiated that. Item 6S is Coober Coffee, Minnesota LLC, conditional use permit. This is actually going to be a 7-brew coffee, and 179th and Cedar Marketplace, I believe is the name. Second 7-brew. Yeah. And then item 6T is accepting phase 2 bids for new fire station 2. We just held the groundbreaking for that tonight, and these bids came in on budget, and we're excited to get construction going.
Okay, very good. Council, anything you'd like to pull for further discussion or mention? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve. Councilmember Lee?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, consent agenda passes. We'll now move on to item 7, Interstate South Logistics Park, 4th edition, preliminary plat and conditional use permit. And I don't know if Mr. Kurth from Scanell is going to start. Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Jake Kurth with Scanell Properties. Very excited to introduce this upcoming project that we anticipate to break ground later this summer. We will be taking our outlot that's named Interstate South 4th Edition into 2 separate lots with 1 outlot. From a site plans perspective, our lot 1 that will be on the east side of the outlot will be a built-to-suit for Domino's supply chain. It'll be a distribution center, 75,000 square feet. This will be a relocation for them and also expansion. So very excited about that.
Okay, Ms. Goodrow, you have a staff report. So now we get the freshest Domino's in the metro.
Yep, you will. All right, so yes, Scanell Properties has submitted a preliminary plat application for 2 lots on 37.9 acres. The property is located just south of 215th Street. It is just north of the Amazon XL facility. It is zoned I-1, light industrial. As Mr. Kurth mentioned, the plat does contain 2 lots. Lot 1 is being platted over here. That development application will be coming to you shortly. Lot 2 is the property that we're discussing tonight. They are also requesting a conditional use permit for additional parking. And so this is a site plan for that Lot 2. It's a 75,000 square foot manufacturing building. It will have 2 access points to 217th Street. There'll be no direct access to 215th or County Road 70. Dock doors will be located along the east side, main parking area along the south side, and then additional trailer parking along the east side. And there is plans for a 25,000 square foot addition. So one of the things that the applicant requested was having that additional parking be built now. It just made sense to them to build it all now versus disrupting it in the future. However, we do have a requirement because we try to limit additional parking. So we do have the CUP process if you want to add parking in excess of 125%. So initially with this first build, they'll be at 150%, but when that 25,000 square foot addition is placed, they'll be back below that 125% threshold. So in a sense, it's kind of a temporary CUP for that. And the math is included on the screen as well as was in the packet. The applicant will be adding screening for the trailers along the east side, and we're asking for some additional screening along the north side added to what's already proposed, and then parking lot screening and additional landscaping along the southern property north of the pond. The building elevations will be very similar to the different types of buildings that we've been seeing out in the industrial park. Medium texture precast panels, 4 colors. That's being used to break up the building and to provide visual interest to the building. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on their May 7th meeting. There were no public comments, and the Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval. And I stand for any questions.
Okay, very good. Council, any questions? Councilmember Lee?
For the applicant, actually, a little insider information about my dad drove truck for Domino's and just retired from doing this up in Egan last year. But something that I found interesting was that Domino's has a trucking strategy where most of it's overnight, I believe. Is that still the trucking strategy in terms of when this facility is going to be the busiest?
I don't know the specifics offhand, but this will be a 24-hour facility. One thing to note is that the distribution of the materials that are inside the facility will span across the entire state. So I would anticipate that it's not just through, finite specific times.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you have any jobs will be in this facility?
There'll be roughly about 45 new jobs just in this facility.
Okay, very good. Council, any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion. Councilor Wolter?
I move a resolution approving the Interstate South Logistics Park 4th Edition preliminary plat, and 2, a conditional use permit to exceed 125% of the minimum parking requirement for Lot 2, Block 1, and adopt findings of fact.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? Christine, on roll call, please.
Walter,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Volk,
Aye.
Hellier,
Aye.
Bermal.
Aye.
Okay, very good. We'll now move on to unfinished business. Seeing none, we'll move on to what we call new business, but we'll take kind of a 5-minute pause here, or 4 minutes till 6:40. Sorry, Julie. This is what traditionally was our work session time. So for those who don't need to be here for the work session, give a moment to leave, and this gives us a nice break. So we'll come back at 6:40. Overly explain that, but.
Just a minute to explain it.
Yeah. 8 up, 1. Quarter One Financial Report with our Finance Director, Ms. Julie Stahl. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, and thank you, Council. We're doing something a little different tonight. We've got a summary and a PowerPoint presentation, so we're not just looking through the report that you were all given in your packet.
Okay, I like it.
I know. I think that's going to be great. So we are looking at the first quarter of 2026. We're including the General Fund, Communications Fund, Liquor Fund, and Utility Funds. So when we're looking at the General Fund revenues, they're at $2.14 million right now. And it's only 4% of our budget. You all know we get our tax money in June and December. So that's not a surprise. It's not out of line for this first quarter. And we've got license and permits are actually up from the same time period in 2025. So they're at roughly $900,000. Charges for services are also up over 2025's first quarter by about roughly $158,000. So they're sitting at $655,000 for the year, through the first quarter. Investment income, we've only got $73,000 this first quarter. Again, we hold investments to maturity. We did, for the city, for our first quarter, we earned $990,000 of interest earnings, but the fair market value changes were a loss of $519,000. So net for the whole city portfolio was roughly $470,000 to the good. Again, that fair market value is also just a point in time. So we don't, like I said, we hold them to maturity and don't take any losses on those typically. So when we're looking at building permits, quarter one comparison from last year to this year, we're higher. So single families are at 63 units versus 58 last year, and townhomes are at 97 units versus the 59 from last year. Just another note too, so year to date, our through May for building permits. So 83 single-family homes, 124 townhomes, 4 apartments, which are 51 units, and then 8 commercial permits. We also, a little difference from first quarter of 2025 is we have a full quarter of the SAFER grant. If you remember, we hired the 15 firefighters in March of 2025 for the first quarter in 2025. Didn't have a full quarter's worth of that grant money. So that's about $400,000 more than last year. And then court fines, it's right in line with the budget, but is slightly below last year's at this time at $53,000. Looking at the total quarter one expenditures for the general fund, we're at $9.5 million, and that's only 20% of our budget, so we're doing well there. There's some staffing shortages or transition costs that are contributing to that savings. And it is, as budgeted, we had predicted $750,000 more than quarter one of 2025. Again, that's the growth factor. The fire is a big part of that. We've had growth factor in the police as well. Just showing the chart there is just showing the costs for each department for the quarter. Excuse me. Salt purchases, we are about $68,000 more than the same time period last year, and it is 83% of our annual budget, but we are fully at capacity at storage at the central maintenance facility, so we're sitting good for this next winter season. Gas and electric, gas is up about $40,000 more than the same time period last year, and then we had a lot of rate increases on gas. And combined, both gas and electricity is at 30% of budget. So we'll watch that hopefully, through the next 2 quarters, and it'll be manageable.
No air conditions up right.
Yeah, it feels like it does. Fire department, we are, like I said, higher than last year because of those 15 new full-times that were added in March of 2025. They did change up how they're doing their gear outfitting for fire, and they are renting instead of purchasing, so there's some cost savings there. And then police, like I mentioned, those staffing vacancies due to transitions is causing police to come in under budget for the most part. So, but we're expecting that budget to come in line with what we anticipated. In looking at those other funds, the enterprise funds, we've got the liquor fund, which is doing well compared to quarter one of last year. We're up 1.7% in sales, so that's at $4.6 million. The gross margin is slightly up as well at 29.3%. Expenditures are 19% of budget, so they're doing really well with that, and they're $26,000 under the first quarter of 2025.
If I remember though, we were down the year before, so now we're probably back to level from where we were like 2 years ago.
Yeah, the whole industry has really tapered off. So to see any increases in the sales is very positive. We did do the transfers already that were budgeted for the liquor fund, and roughly $2.35 million to those other funds, helping to keep our levy manageable. So I'll scoot over to water fund. Typically, the first quarter is lower in the water and sewer funds, and so not alarming that we've got $66,000 less than last year at this time. We did have the rate increase of 6% that went into effect February 1st, but we did have 65,000 fewer gallons that actually were billed for this first quarter. And our expenditures are slightly over the benchmark at 27%, so 2% over benchmark. Sewer fund, same thing, that the revenues are slightly less than we'd anticipate, but again, first quarter, that's what they typically do. We do have increased costs. The Met Council, the MCES disposal is the largest cost of the sewer processing, and that had an 8.3% increase for 2026, which is roughly $6 million cost to the city for that processing. The city, so it makes up a large part of our increase. We're able to absorb part of the increase with our existing fund balance, but still there was a 3% increase for 2026. Expenditures, on the other hand, are doing well. They're under benchmark at 22%. And then streetlights, we had a 5% rate increase that went into effect, and revenues are right on track with that. Environmental resources, a 4% rate increase, and the revenues are actually trending above 2025. There's some growth factors that are contributing to all of these different levels of revenues, but those rate increases affect it, but again, that usage really just drives, and the sewer and water especially. So I'll just hit on the key takeaways from the first quarter. Building permits, they're outpacing 2025, which is very encouraging. And that, trend, we don't see that. We've got a lot of building permits to issue for everything that's been, all those applications that are already in place. So the revenue timing, again, like I said, is normal. We don't get our first tax payment until June. And but the positive thing is that our charges for services and our permits are higher than what we saw last year. And again, expenditures are mostly on track. General fund is only at 20% of budget. So right now we're sitting at a good spot. And those savings in the staffing vacancies are helping with that. The utility rate adjustments, like I mentioned, those increases are now in effect for the rest of the quarters. And as we recognize the growth in the city, we're going to continue to see those revenues trending up. Liquor sales, again, it's positive, and it's an encouraging note, knowing that they're trending up higher than they were last year because of how the industry has changed. And then, as you well know, we've got the first center construction well underway, and hoping to be opening that in quarter 3 of 2026. We did get our first 4 partnership memberships with those other cities, so there's $40,000 of revenue in that fund. So with that, if there's any questions on what was in the packet.
Questions? Councilmember Lee?
I don't think we have anything.
When it comes to permits issued, what does the current quarter, what does that translate into dollars? When you break down housing, commercial, industrial?
As far as the dollars for each of those, we don't have the dollars. We have the numbers of, I don't have that right at my fingertips. I have the.
As a combined total, is that in?
Oh, the combined total, yep, that's so the combined total for the license and permits is the 895,000 compared to 618,000 last year's first quarter.
Gotcha. And when I'm looking at the graph for quarter one, there are two bars that look comparable, but the way the permitting works, it wouldn't necessarily mean that the dollars are comparable.
Correct.
Okay.
It's, then, yeah.
The rates
The
are different.
valuations
for
are different,
right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And the permit revenue is largely based on the valuation of the homes being built, so.
Right.
Or the commercial entities being put in, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to imagine 3 commercial versus 0 is a big factor.
Yes, and yeah. And we could, I could be breaking out the dollar amounts for those permits, if that's helpful, valuation dollars. The building permit report monthly, yeah, that breaks it down too,
Okay.
so.
No, appreciate that.
Thank you for the report. Appreciate it.
Like the new format.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I
okay,
love
okay.
it.
But keep all this too, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah,
packet?
we want- yeah, we
Okay,
want-
okay, I'm just making sure.
Don't need the detail, but.
Sunday night.
That's a
Thank
good-
you.
Good
Thank-
nighttime read before. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Council, any committee updates? I would just say we probably, if you're doing LMC conference, you probably have to be signed up pretty quick. If anybody's going to Rochester for that.
I'll be attending.
All right, with that, I will take, announcement, our next city council meeting is June 1st. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned.